thing. So tonight we are very fortunate to have two poets with us, both of whom have read at this store before. The first will be Linda Henry. She will be reading tonight from her forthcoming chapbook called Mayfly. And it sounds like it will be absolutely wonderful. Maybe the end of the summer we'll see copies. So thank you for coming.
Thanks, Jenny. She didn't say anything about you. Do you want me to introduce you?
Later.
Later, after this is over. Well, thanks everybody for coming. This is great. I want to talk a little bit about, the first thing is to thank Dottie who asked me to come and read with her. That for me is a big honor. I won't tell you how come, but it's a big honor. Second thing is, before I knew that Kathleen Flanagan was going to be the Poet Laureate, I asked her if I could, if she'd look at some poems. I thought I'd run out, had run dry, and I think people do that. So she said, we'll put a book together and we'll work on it together, and then it went to a very good friend of ours to be printed, and we're going to do a letterpress, hand-bound, fancy-dancy stuff, because I thought it was going to be the end. And now today I went for a walk and I saw 2 calypso orchids and let's see, I don't know, it just all came back. All the Orcas Island that I love came back. So I decided maybe it's not over yet, but if it is, you know, so be it. So these poems are, it's a collection. It's not new stuff. So you may recognize some of them, and if you do, I hope you like them as much as I do. These are my favorites. The New Year. A fresh sheet to be illuminated, the scribe begins. Dips a brush into glazed pots of ochre, crimson, indigo, lays down gold leaf. He draws a fawn, a jester's cap, a barren tree rooted in the past, branches raised toward mountains hiding dawn. A hut with curling smoke. Inside, a woodsman with his dog before the fire. All this adorns the letter A, Anno Domini. As the dust settles. In the morning when it rains and the clouds have dipped to the field, for a time I cradle loss, even though each drop of water is a blessing. As dust settles, the days of dry wind vanish. My spirits lift. I look ahead, not backward to what was, or not backward to what was and what might have been. Excuse me for screwing it up. Changing. 1. In the desert, a concrete bunker with a ladder going down. Oil drips from a spigot. Naughty magazines left open. I'm 7. I do not tell my mother. 2. Freshly painted drop siding on a little playhouse hidden in the woods. I'm 8 years old. I find the key. 3. Suddenly beauty appears in the sky filled with popcorn clouds. The village, the inlet, half the world is yellow. I am 15. 4. At 20, a last walk before bed. The sky is filled with light, red curtains waving, humming. I rush to call a neighbor. Return and the light is gone. The difference. Hail is mean, immediate, then gone. Like the tinker rattling off down the lane, carriage wheels squealing. Snow falls cold, covers the earth for her season, then leaves, the blanket swept away. The residue is spring. The last visit. How softly she breathes. Sheet and blanket rise, then fall. 3 breaths, and then he comes. Maybe through a window, but perhaps someone left the door ajar. He gathers up her soul, slips it to his pocket, nods, and leaves as swiftly as he came. What remains is the great gash of death, our chests rent open, our hearts still beating, some wail, some sit silent. Then memory does her work, sweeps the clutter, dusts away all but the pictures. Alice. Pretend sophisticate. Forgets to check her teeth in the mirror as she leaves. Walks head down, thinking potatoes or rice, a small piece of fish picked up after work on the way home, alone. Suddenly, out of the blue, a can of paint from 10 stories up drops from the hand of the maintenance man. It strikes her head, and there you are. What was his name? We'd seen the movies, spent the evenings dancing at a roadhouse on the way to Purdy. Seems rude to have forgotten. I remember the last name, see his face, sweet boy and gentle. By noon, I'll have gone through the litany. Alan, Bill, Charles, all discarded. Ah, there it is. His name was Fred. Wherever you are, dear Fred, I've remembered your name. That's brought me a certain peace. I hope, if this has worried you, you now can rest as well. Hiding. I am the little pig in the little brick house. Strong walls, a deadbolt. Huff and puff, you can't blow my house down. At night, in this little pig's bed under a quilt, fear hides. Eyes open, listens for the footfall, a squeak on the joist. This is for Jan Loudon. Drought. Seed pods on the Scotch broom become shaman rattles that beg for rain. Sand drifts up tree trunks, pine branches draw down, their tips turn brown. The red needle climbs, I listen closely to the rasp of grasshoppers, tap the barometer, think of Icarus, and pray for rain. She said that was a woo-woo. A number of years ago, Pam gave me a painting by Frank Loudon, and it's one of my favorites. She wanted to bring it tonight. I said no. Frank said whatever. So we didn't bring it. At dusk, she sets aside her broom from the tidying up, leaves her sea of peonies, the moss and the terracotta smells. Her 3-tined rake hangs on a hook. A trowel, her clippers open, cleaned and oiled, rest on the bench. It's time. She walks straight as a rod through the gate, finished with this world and on to the next. Thank you very much.